Day. And I've been asking you basically, what was your first job? Share with me. Is it when you just started out as a young child, your first official first job, whatever it is, share with me. I want to hear from you. A lot of you are connecting with me. I mean, I can't wait to read some of the messages that are coming through. But joining me now in the studio is sister attorney Shoaiba Mohammed, and we're going to be chatting more about employee rights and responsibilities. So find out what that is, and let's dive into it. And I can't wait to also ask her the same question. Assalamu alaikum, attorney Shoaiba Mohammed, welcome to Urban Woman this morning on a public holiday. We thank you for your presence here and your time.
I'm Sister RAZIA, and assalamu alaikum to the listeners. Thank you for having me here, RAZIA.
It's an absolute pleasure having you and our little urban woman here. Initially, she wanted to chat with us. How old is she, by the way?
She's 6.
She's 6. So Shoaiba's daughter is 6, and she was going to talk, but now she prefers to write. So
yeah, she wanted to tell us that she's a paralegal. So that's what she wanted to say.
Look at that. She's probably working at the moment, right?
Yes, on Workers' Day. Yeah.
Like you and I. Oh, boy. Share with us, what are the legal protections against unfair dismissal or retrenchment in South Africa? I think many people are concerned. What if this happens to me? What are my rights? What do I have? What's my protection?
Okay, so before even knowing what your protection is, you first need to understand what could constitute as unfair dismissal. Mm-hmm. There are many. A dismissal is unfair if it lacks substantive fairness, procedural fairness, or automatically unfair. When we talk about substantive fairness, we're talking about where the employer must have a valid reason to dismiss. I'm not going to go into detail. We do have a short time on the show. So basically, valid reason is what we talk about substantive fairness. When we talk about procedural fairness, we're talking about, did the employer follow the correct procedure, a fair procedure before dismissal? Mm-hmm. And automatically unfair dismissals is where dismissal is automatically unfair. For example, if you're pregnant and you tell your employer, I'm pregnant, right, and they dismiss you because you're pregnant. I mean, why? Yeah. Regarding race, gender, because you joined a union, whistleblowing, participating in a legal strike. So also with regards to retrenchment, retrenchment has to be governed or regulated by the Labour Relations Act, and the employer has to first consult all the affected employees, unions or workplaces. The consultation has to cover reasons for retrenchment, alternatives to the retrenchment, selection criteria, severance pay, employment options, a whole lot of things. So the dispute resolution process on any of these, approaching the CCMA.
Right.
If you feel the dismissal or retrenchment was unfair, you refer your dispute to the CCMA within 30 days. And if unresolved at the CCMA, you then proceed to arbitration at a labour court.
There we go. Now you know, listeners, now you know. Okay, so basically we want to know also, thank you for sharing that with us. Now just say an employee actually feels that they have faced discrimination or harassment at work. What should they actually then do?
So firstly, it's important to keep records of incidents, whether it's you writing down dates and times of what happened, any emails that have come through, messages, anything that you could use as evidence.
Right.
You start off firstly by reporting it to senior management, your supervisor, manager, your HR department. If there's any formal grievance procedures in the company that you're employed at, follow those first. So the employers have to then, well, they're legally required to then investigate and take the appropriate action where harassment or discrimination is reported. If that fails, then we're back to CCMA or Labour Court. It's the same thing. You're going to file your complaint and seek for conciliation, mediation, and arbitration.
So I want to just tell you that we are live on Facebook as well, my awesome listeners. So you can also become our viewers as well. If you have any questions, feel free to drop in on Facebook. If you also want to share with us what was your first job, let's go for that as well. We're chatting with attorney Shoaiba Mohammed all around employee rights and responsibilities. So Sister Shoaiba, can an employee refuse unsafe work, and also what legal processes protect them if they do refuse it?
Yes, they can. An employee in South Africa can legally refuse to perform unsafe work. And they are protected by the Occupational Health and Safety Act, and which is also supported by the Labour Relations Act. So the employee has the right to leave or refuse to perform the work if there's reasonable belief that doing so would pose a danger to their health or safety. And if the employees are discriminated on that basis, once again, we go to CCMA, referring your dispute, report it to the Department of Employment and Labor as well. And if CCMA fails, go to the Labor Court.
Thank you so much for sharing that. So there's your options. Know that you're not stuck. Know that if there's anything that's not safe or there's discrimination, CCMA is there for you. Or just remember, there's procedures that need to be followed, and that's it. So that's wonderful to know. Thank you for shedding light on that. I do want to know, where's your first job?
When? Oh my word. Okay.
When, what, how? Share with us.
Okay, taking me back like what, some 20 years or more, 21 years ago. So straight out of high school.
Right.
My first job was at an attorney.
Uh-huh.
I walked to work. I was 18 years old. And that attorney, I stayed with him for, I think, about a year. And that's where I got my exposure. Taking into consideration, I never thought of becoming an attorney. It was never an option, right?
Okay.
So, yeah, I didn't even think about this. And then my first job was there because I couldn't afford to study out of school. So I had to work. And I left from my first job and I joined Al-Ansar. I was here for a short while, right? And that was 2000.
I had no idea.
2005, I worked under Sister Asia.
Right.
And Riaz Jamal. Doing admin, assisting in programming. And I would be pushed into doing some kiddies shows if the presenters didn't rock up at work. So I did lots of voiceover on the ads. Yeah.
Nice to know. Look who we connecting with. They're going back in time. This is so interesting.
Yes. So, and then I realized that the legal field was for me. So I left Al-Ansar and I went back and I started studying part-time whilst I work full-time for attorneys. I joined many different firms, got exposure, and then eventually qualified. Worked for a few more years, and then in 2020, I started my own practice.
MashaAllah, 2020.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. And in 2025, and may Allah continue to just allow you to grow and to prosper in everything you do. I had no idea. Look who I'm connecting. Small world, right?
Yeah.
Well, they say there's nothing that is coincidental.
Indeed.
So let's hear what Colonel Raouf shares. He says, I started working part-time after school in a shop, and on a Saturday, I used to earn 2 Rand a week.
Wow.
2 Rand a week.
I thought mine was bad. I earned 600 Rand a month in my first job.
That's like massive compared to this too.
Exactly.
Okay, started at 12 years old. Wow.
Jeez.
Our listeners are just amazing. I mean, starting so early, once at 11, once at 12. There we go. Salam, Sister Razia. I started working as a cleaner of garments. When I started, proceeded to become a merchantist and continued studying through correspondence with Britain, a clerical course. After passing, I went into a paint shop, became a receptionist. The owner asked me to become the second female automotive color matcher. Wow. Yeah, I was blown away. Well, I became one of the best female, look at that, female Indian color matchers in South Africa. So proud of my profession in a male-dominated world. Your sister in Islam, Najmin Nisa Khan. You go, girl. That's fabulous.
Wow.
Real urban woman, I'll say. Wow, mashallah. That's so nice. Okay, Yazwan, salams. I'm going to share this quickly.
Okay.
Salams, I beautiful RR and the awesome urban woman team. Beautiful day indeed. Thursday, I started part-time work at 15 years as a cashier at a local supermarket during the weekends. Loved my independence and still do. Found my passion in medical. We continue to work to strive to do our best. And she says, another share RR. My home was full of widows. My mom, my gran, my aunt. The only male was my bai. Alhamdulillah, we did it. We were not born with a silver spoon. We worked hard and smart. Our women were warriors, survivors, abbreviated story. Our challenges made us who we are today with Allah's mercy. Sister Zakia, you go on. That's beautiful. You know, I always believe that if Allah Azza wa Jal is going to test you, He's going to give you the ability to manage the test. He'll never put you through what you cannot handle. And this is where we rise and we shine, knowing that if this is my test, Allah is also going to support me, and I very well can do that. And I can talk from my personal perspective with all my challenges, but alhamdulillah for everything. We're going to be challenged so we can become stronger and we can identify our tools and the strengths that we have and the potentials that we have. It's never meant to deter us, to break us, to make us into a victim. No, it's meant to make us realize how much strength and how we can actually really shine. So these are wonderful messages. So wonderful hearing from all of you about how you started. I'm sure there's more coming through, but I'm just going to have to go through the WhatsApps. So I think interesting. Mine was when I started off in our family business. My mom opened up, we lived in Pietermaritzburg. That's my hometown, right? So she
Nice.
opened up Diaper Den. I was still in school. And during that time, I was helping her to set up. And then I ended up having a fall in school and I fractured my spine.
Oh,
So
no.
I had 5 fractures and I couldn't walk.
Jeez.
I couldn't do anything for myself. I couldn't even brush my teeth. So I thought that was a challenge for my mom because all I had to do was lie in bed and heal. Alhamdulillah, Allah was so merciful, so kind that I didn't have to go through any operations, any tractions, anything of that sort. So it was just healing, alhamdulillah. And I must tell you, lots of salawat. And I didn't know that what I did then is what I'm doing now, my work, the power for your mind, what you put out, you attract. There's science to it, Islamically as well.
Yeah.
And alhamdulillah, at that time, there's no YouTube and stuff, right? So I'm not giving away my age.
I know it's hard to say. Are you from then?
Right, I'm from then. And alhamdulillah, Allah Azza wa Jal guided me. And I kept thinking, by this day I'll be doing that, and by that day I'll be doing this, and by this day I'll be walking. And alhamdulillah, I began walking again. I can't tell you that the first 10 steps I took, whether it was I felt like a newborn baby learning how to walk or an absolute old woman, but it was the most electrifying feeling filled with gratitude that I could walk. It took me time to go down and bend in sujood, but that too, I got there. And it's all about telling yourself, by this day I'll do that, by that day. So you're giving yourself the goals, what to work with. And now, so all these years, this is what I do at my practice. Helping people to shift, to realize that you have so much within you. You need that clarity, you need to believe in yourself. So Allah Azza wa Jal says, I am to my slave as they perceive me to be. So that was my mom's challenge because she had to obviously build her business. She just started up, come home, see to me. My late dad will also do his stuff. And then my brother completed his hibs, then she gifted the business to him.
Oh.
Then he opened another one. It was called Baby Talk. So I was helping there. And then during that time, I was studying travel and tourism. So my official job was at Balmoral Hotel.
Wow. Okay.
I was at Balmoral Hotel. I was very lucky. I literally walked in. I was walking in to give because I studied travel and tourism.
Yeah.
I said, let's try in this sector before I go to airlines and whatever else. Let's see what life has to offer me. And as I walked up, the manager was walking behind me. So when I handed my CV, the PA runs and says, just wait, just wait. He'll see you right now. And he gave me the job like instantly.
You're so lucky.
Alhamdulillah, I was so lucky.
Mashallah.
And then in the next month, it was the Indaba Trade Fair. So I had no idea what that was about. I had no idea that the front office staff were all excited about this and they were waiting and hoping to be selected for it. And here RAZIA gets selected.
Wow.
So you can imagine how many of them loved me then. I had no idea what the big issue was, but there I was. And then from there, it just grew. And alhamdulillah. So that was how I began my journey. And then Allah Azza wa Jal takes you obviously to where you need to be.
Indeed.
I'm here now. And I have a practice where I do holistic healing as well.
That's great.
So I've had a lot of experiences in a lot of fields, and I'm very grateful for that. So it's so beautiful to hear people's stories. It is Workers' Day. It's a public holiday, a wonderful day. We have attorney Shuaib Muhammad joining us in the studio. We thank you for your time this morning. What is your take-home message for our listeners this morning?
Okay, so every employee has rights, and knowing them is your first step towards fair treatment at work. Under South African labour law, you have the right to fair pay, safe working conditions, protection from discrimination, and fair dismissal procedures. You also have the right to refuse dangerous work, claim unpaid wages, and report harassment without fear of victimization. If your rights are being violated, don't stay silent. Talk to the relevant people, whether it's your HR department, your union, approaching a CCMA, Department of Labor, call an attorney. Get the advice.
Yes.
Help is available and the law is on your side. So do not stay silent.
Absolutely. Our deen also does not condone injustices and unfair behavior, especially to the worker. So remember your rights. Remember you are an amana to yourself as well. So if you see there's injustice or unfairness, don't sit quietly out of fear that maybe you lose your job or maybe this, because then you're just going to be the enabler to all of that behavior or characteristics or perpetration that is happening. But on that note, thank you so much for your time, and we hope you have a lovely day further and a lovely weekend with your beautiful daughter. Are you ready to say a few words to us? Okay, that's all she said. Thank you for that too.
And so we got 2 words out of her.
Alhamdulillah.
Well, Jazakallah for having me on your show, and have a great weekend.
Inshallah, you too.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Attorney Shu'aiba Muhammad, we've been chatting. Tell us, what was your first job? We'd love to hear from you. It's your Urban Woman Show with me, RAZIA RANGRAGE. 11:44 on the clock. Quick break. I'll be back with you in a bit. Stay tuned. Come to me running.